Hi, I'm Crystal Davis with crystalclearyou.com, and today I want to talk to you about the 3 stages of spiritual awakening, which is about going from alone and isolated and into connected and fulfilled. So turning your pain into your divine message with these 3 stages of spiritual awakening that will truly help you to understand the dark places and how to, what I call, turn your pain into pleasure by finding what makes you uniquely brilliant and being able to understand what your own, very own unique divine purpose is, and for the expression of your divine message and getting it out into the world. And so I first learned about these 3 stages of spiritual awakening through Dr. Wayne Dyer, who most of us just really love and adore. He brought in this particular article, which I'll be sharing in the links below, these 3 stages that he talks about really helped me in my own spiritual awakening journey. So understanding these three stages are really important, because how spiritual awakening really feels is alone and isolated. It's like you're in that dark tunnel to nowhere, and you're not sure what you're doing wrong. You're not sure what you can do differently. And it can often feel like, again, you're in a dark tunnel, and at times you may feel like, okay, it may feel dark, but I know that I'll be able to find my way through that. But in the earlier stages of spiritual awakening, it can often feel like this dark tunnel to nowhere, as if you're never going to get through it. Again, so for me, and for actually all of us experience this. It's whether we're aware or not about that it's actually a gift, and then it's spiritual awakening. So for me, I experienced it as what I call knockdown, drag-out fights with God, and really feeling like, okay, what else? That anger, frustration probably came first, but that when you get into that dark, dark tunnel, it was like that anger of, what do you want differently? What do you want from me? God, what do you want from me? You know, that rage. Okay, so I've been there, done that many, many times, and this is also called the dark night of the soul. Again, where that dark night is, where you don't even know and understand what's happening, so it can feel like the morning, the dawn, the light may never come. And so this is where depression comes from, and in the darkest of places, the people that don't understand it and never get to the light this is where suicides can come from. So it's really important. I wanted to talk to you about my own spiritual journey of awakening and these 3 stages for helping you to see that when you want to create something new, especially as a visionary, we are often, it reminds me of the song Vincent, about Vincent Van Gogh, who killed himself, right? There's an example of a visionary, a brilliant mind, a brilliant artist, someone who really made a lot of advances for the world, yet inside tapped into that really dark, dreary, sad, desperate, that dark tunnel in nowhere, and he couldn't find his way out. So my life purpose, my passion, my purpose for existence is to help all of you, those of you who are really wanting a way through, to find your way through that darkness. Okay, so let me talk about what these 3 stages are. So the first stage is where, well, actually, even stepping back from that, and actually I just did that. So what I just talked about was the stage when we're not really aware, we're not really awakening, we're kind of stuck again in that dark tunnel, which I just described. So by the time we get to some level of awareness, the very first stage of spiritual awakening is to look back with hindsight to the painful experience and to find the gift in that painful experience. So this is where we begin the process of turning the pain into light, into awareness. And so one of the examples that comes to mind that we all experience is, especially when you're a light worker or you're somebody that you're here, you know you have a bigger divine message. You know you have a divine purpose that is bigger than you can even imagine, right? You know that there's something there. You may not know what that is, okay? So if I go back, what I experienced, and I think what is really common for those of us that are awakening, is that we're givers. We want to give, give, give. In fact, we get to a place where we're giving because we know we want to give, and we have a deep desire to give. But yet, the giving that we're doing is actually coming from a place of emptiness, a place of feeling as if, you know, I'm not good enough, I'm not important, I'm not worthy, right? This place of, I need to give, but I really don't feel good about myself, so even when I give, I'm doing it in a way that is actually not satisfying for me and not satisfying for the people that I'm trying to serve. And so the hindsight piece is to look back and to see, oh, so I'm literally pushing people away because I'm trying to give too much. Now, in this first stage of spiritual awakening, it's really unsophisticated, meaning that you're trying, you're doing what all the, you know, what I always said is I'm doing what all the experts have told me to do, to put myself out there. I'm going to networking, I'm having client conversations, I did probably thousands of hours of work and these videos and blogs and the website, and put myself out there in many, many ways, but ended up still not feeling that something was missing and not knowing what, really still in that dark tunnel. So the difference is, it's like, I love the analogy of it's like the door is opening and there is sunlight coming in. So you begin to realize the smaller gifts, like that. Again, the door is opening, and so some gifts are coming, like you may be attracting somebody that's saying, there's something that you said, I'm not sure. I actually had a lot of people say that in my early years in my business. There's something that you said to me, I'm not exactly sure what it was, and then they would get into a conversation with me where I wanted to, you know, serve them. But yet, I was still in that dark place, and so I repelled many, many clients because of still needing to do that healing work. In fact, I was an ultimate overgiver, give, 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 and ran a lot of people away with overgiving. And because I was still playing, and here's the thing about this first stage, you're still coming from a place of neediness, and so while you're attracting some really good things, it still is not exactly what you want, and you're still feeling that dark place, and you're learning about the healing process. In fact, the deeper piece here is the inner child healing. And this is where, in this first stage, where I truly began to do the inner child healing work. And I began to realize that when I'm in the ideal client conversation, that how I was repelling people through this overgiving. Now, so I actually, for myself, and it's really true in this first stage, we have to step back from the thing that we're doing in the world, the real world, and step back and realize that it's something happening inside of you. So where we're trying to turn around from pain to pleasure, the pain is an inner child pain. It is a pain that your inner child doesn't feel seen, heard, and understood. So while you're looking back at the story of, maybe my networking story is a good example there, going into networking, feeling the pain, hindsight of, oh, well, I'm not showing up really for them. I'm showing up as my inner child, needing to be seen, heard, and understood, right? So that's very repelling energy. It's not the energy that you want to come from. So that's the first stage. You're looking back in hindsight and you're realizing where you're really shooting yourself in the foot, where things aren't working. And you're beginning to realize that there's this inner child healing work to do. And you're, in the analogy of where I love to say, you're extending your hand to your inner child, and the inner child is beginning to respond. Okay? But there you're feeling that pain of alone and isolated, and you're beginning to realize that that dark tunnel is about you. It's not about anybody else, it's about you. So that's the first stage. But so again, it's still very unsophisticated at that stage. In the second stage, you have done the inner child healing work, you have extended that hand, and you've begun to give love and understanding to the part of you that wants to get angry, wants to feel, wants your attention, right? So you're beginning to do, as you've done that work with stage 1, in stage 2, what's happening is in the moment you are aware that you're really beginning to sort the laundry, is what I like to call it, where you're having a conversation with somebody and you're aware that when they say something to you, that there's the gift right here, right now. So where stage 1 was looking back in hindsight to the past and doing all that forgiveness work in the past and needing to create that relationship with your inner child, in stage 2, you're actually aware in the moment that your inner child has a message for you. It's really super powerful. The very first example that I want to give you there is, it's really, I'm a manifesting generator, so this is where human design and my stand out and shine system really begins to, your awareness becomes heightened. Because you're really in the moment recognizing that, wait a minute, I'm sorting the laundry. Was that really me or was that somebody else? So I want to use an example. Okay, so I'm a manifesting generator, and I want to use an example of the relationship between me and my sister, who's a manifester, so who I've actually spent a lot of time with over the last, during my spiritual awakening over the last 10 years, because I had bankruptcy, foreclosure, didn't know where the next client was going to come from. I didn't know how I was going to survive. I talk about that dark tunnel. I literally left my 6-figure job, jumped into my business full-time, and dark tunnel. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Again, that's my story, and that was my journey. Whatever your story is and whatever your journey is, that's your purpose and your path to walk. My purpose, my path to walk was to be around my manifestor sister on those days. And so for a long time, that dark tunnel felt like I'm doing something wrong. Never going to get there. Never going to create. Never going to bring and easily attract the ideal and perfect client. Never going to build the business and life I love. I'm stuck, and this is never going to change. Talk about a deep and dark, scary place to be. Just imagine that. Okay, so being around my manifestor sister, though, as I did that healing and forgiveness work, that inner child work, I came into stage 2 very powerfully, realizing, and the reason a manifestor in your life, if you're a manifestor, this is going to be instructional for you, but it's also instructional for those of us that aren't manifestors but are around the manifestor. Now, the manifestor has an aura that can feel pushy, because their aura is like the billiard ball, the white ball on a pool table that knocks into other people to initiate action. And so my sister is a manifestor, and she initiating action. I used to be so angry at her. So I would react, and I would just be like, well, not a very good master healer teacher. I'm not good at that if I'm reacting and getting triggered by other people. Okay, stage 1, give, give, give. People would trigger me in networking, ideal client conversations. I wasn't meeting the law of compensation that says the need for what you do, your ability to do it, and your ability to be replaced. You know, you can't be replaced. You're irreplaceable, right? But there was always a need for what I do, but my ability to do it was always triggered by my believing that other people was the cause of my problem. Okay, we're going to get to stage 3 in a minute, but as long as in stage 1 you're being triggered and you haven't done an inner child work, you haven't done that healing work, okay, you're stuck in stage 1. Stage 2, I'm still being triggered, but I'm starting to realize, oh, sorting the laundry, that's her, that's not me. So and then in the moment, as I kind of dialed that in, you know, this is all about a clear focus, dialing it in so that you're crystal clear that what's mine, what's yours, and I could stand with what I call in my 5 C's of the crystal clear you. The clarity really was building to where I could stand in a calm, confident conviction in who I am. I was no longer triggered, and I'm not saying I'm perfect at it, but in the moment, finding the gift of where when I'm around my sister now, even if I start to get triggered, I can go, oh, wait a minute, and back away, okay, and be more present in the moment to me and myself. And so then that was one of the huge gifts. Even though it felt like a dark tunnel, it was actually a major gift because I wasn't ready for the masses of people to come to me at that point when I was being triggered. Because if I was being triggered, I would have been overwhelmed, inundated, and would have been even more painful. Okay, so that's stage 2. Stage 1, looking back in hindsight, doing the healing. Stage 2, in the moment, understanding your human design and my Stand Out and Shine Magnetic Success Transformation System. You've done the transformational work, and in the moment, you can be present to who you really are and aware. Okay, so in stage 3, this is where you're getting ahead of it. You are able to choose your thought and maintain with that calm, confident conviction your thinking of the business and life that you would love, and it is manifesting for you. Okay. Now I'm somewhere in the middle. If I'm going to be honest with you today, I am in the middle of stage 2 and stage 3. And it's a really super fun and powerful place to be. Yeah, I still get triggered. There's still some of those deeper hindsight kind of moments that go, oh, wow, I'm getting caught up in that, which I call a hidden mirror. But more and more, I'm in that place where I'm in stage 2. I'm in let's talk about even recently. I was in one of my high-level client conversations with a high-level client, and her energy was triggering me. And while I didn't, like in the old days, repel her, and maybe there was a part of that energy, because there's always that happening, right? Until we're completely awakened, that will be happening. But what I want to share with you is when I got off the phone call and within the next 24 hours, I had divine downloads. But here's the thing about stage 3. Yes, we're realizing more and more that our thoughts are creating our reality. But it's all about receiving the thought. And we're comfortable in the silence receiving the thought from the divine. We're getting these divine downloads more and more and more. In fact, that's how you know you've built momentum and you're accelerating your journey to what I call the crystal clear you, or the awakened visionary, where you're fully awake and you're easily manifesting the business and life you love. There's a momentum building there. Okay, so in this 3rd stage, it's what Abraham Hicks calls deliberate creation. You are the deliberate creator of your experience. But you see, until you did that healing work with hindsight, cleared the past, cleared most of the mirror, you now can use your human design to get present with stage 3, and now you can live your design. You can truly awaken to your divine message, and your thoughts can create your reality. But you can see how you have to work through these 3 stages. In fact, one of the ways the reason that dark tunnel can feel so dark and scary is that you get into the dark tunnel and you're not realizing that you're creative your experience. You're back stuck in stage 1 thinking that everything's happening to you. You're inundated, you're overwhelmed, okay? And so that's why, like, being around somebody like my sister, a manifestor, was super triggering for me, because, and for you and I, you know, other people trigger us. They're supposed to, because as long as we're stuck in believing that that other person is in control, then we're stuck in that. Okay? When you realize that you're the deliberate creator, you're in control, then you've transitioned from being ran by your subconscious mind and all of those beliefs that have been buried in there, and now you're in control. So those are the 3 stages of spiritual awakening. You want to know how to really heal in stage 1 and 2, and truly allow your thoughts to create your reality, because then you'll turn your pain into your divine message for more clients, more money, and more life, more of the life you love. But you have to really learn how to work the human design system at this deeper level with my Stand Out and Shine system. Okay, so I invite you, come to my services page at crystalclearyou.com. Look at my services page. At a minimum, sign up for a unique Brilliance discovery session with me. And let's see where you are in those 3 stages and get you started at whatever level of my services that you're ready for. So we just really need to have that conversation. And if you haven't yet done so, get your complimentary human design birth chart. Now, you don't need to be in that dark and scary place by yourself. Now, I'm not going to say, in fact, it's an essential part of the awakening journey to really allow yourself to be in that dark, scary place, because while you are, a part of you is in that dark and scary place, there is a part of you that you need to learn to, your higher self, right, to learn to embrace that you can find your way through. And that's where, again, where I'm a divine messenger here. My work is to be that light when you can't be that for yourself. Okay? You're not doing anything wrong. You just need a way through. Okay? And I really want to help you to do that. Again, so come to crystalclearyou.com/services.html and sign up for your unique Brilliance Discovery session today. You know, I love you from the essence of my entire being. Everything that I've done, I can only deliver this message because I've been there, done that. And so let me help you in the way that I can serve you today. All right? Love you. Bye-bye.